signings after the show, or will you do pre-show signings or meet the fans? Are you going to be meet and greets?
Sometimes I have like in stores a meet and greet and whatever. What I usually do is after the show, I have stuff brought up on the bus to the fans, then I sign it for them. That's what I normally do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have to leave right away, which is unfortunate, but I try to do my best.
This tour that starts on Saturday, it's in support of the new record, Perpetual Flame, which is coming out in 2 weeks here in the States. Now, us in the press, we have not received advanced copies of it yet, but we have been able to listen to the album online. I'm not able to play the new songs for the listeners since I don't have a copy of it yet, but I do want to talk about the new songs. And since listeners and your fans have not heard the new record yet, I want to kind of briefly describe each song to sort of give them an idea of what they sound like by relating them to some older songs of yours. And I'd love to hear your feedback on these songs. The first track on the record is Death Dealer. I got to tell you, as soon as I heard this song, I immediately thought, okay, this is going to be a live set staple. We're going to be hearing this for years to come. And it struck me as this is probably your most compelling, fast, heavy tune since Never Die. I mean, I think this is going to be one of those songs you're going to be playing for a lot of years. It's got an opening riff that's similar to Vengeance or Forever is a Long Time. And what I really like about it are the vocals. I mean, that opening verse is very Alcatraz to me. It sounds very Alcatraz-like.
Yeah.
Very fast song, mosh pit-inducing. You think you're going to be playing this song live?
Yes, we are, for
awesome.
Sure.
Awesome.
We're running back through it in rehearsal today.
Awesome.
It's a really demanding track, actually. But I think it sounds, it's very aggressive, So
yes, very.
I like it.
Oh, I dig it. I know I like all styles of your songs, but those fast, heavy, aggressive tunes are probably my favorite. And you nailed it with Death Dealer. Some work for me, some don't work as much, but man, this one from the get-go, my favorite song on the record. Highly recommend this song for your fans to latch onto. Now, the next track is Damnation Game. It's an up-tempo rocker. This song kind of sounds like it would go over well live. What's the inspiration behind the lyrics to Damnation Game?
It's actually from a book by Clive Barker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love his books. I recommend them. They're very. He's the guy that did the Hellraiser movies, but he's actually an author, Clive Barker. And he's written a few books, which Damnation Game is one of them. It's actually one of the other songs about a character out of that book called The Razor Eater. And so, yeah, I'm into that. I mean, all my lyrics always have something to do with either that or just pure anger or something. I spent a lot of time on lyrics this time.
Yeah, you've definitely got some recurring themes in the lyrics to your songs, and this new record is no exception. The next track, Live to Fight, is one of my favorite cuts off the record. I like the intro. You showed some restraint on the guitar playing on that intro, and the main riff reminds me of Tomorrow's Gone. I really like this track. How do you feel about Live to Fight?
I really dig it as well. I mean, it's tuned down, but it's still melodic, And it's really like fat. The verse is like really just basically chugging down on the open strings, and the ripper comes across really good on it, It was the first song we recorded together. When he came down, I showed him, hey, check this song out and let's try this one on, because it was all finished, and so it's got a special meaning that way,
Yeah, I dig the song. But the next one, Red Devil, right now, next to Death Dealer, is a favorite of mine off the record. I like the opening melodies. You show a little more restraint on them. It's an up-tempo rocker-type tune, and it actually reminds me of the Magnum Opus album, which is a favorite album of mine. Think there might be a chance of hearing Red Devil live?
Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's dedicated to my Ferraris,
Well, you got to play them live then.
Yeah,
I guess you can't pull a Halford where you ride your Ferraris out on stage and then do the song. That's probably not going to work.
That would be so cool.
That would be cool, but I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
The next track, Four Horsemen, is one of your, I would call it like a typical fast-paced Yngwie song, but with a very unique riff that I think is unique to you. It's a kind of riff that, it's just when I hear it, I know it's you. And the Four Horsemen, it's just, if I were to tell somebody, describe like a typical fast Yngwie song, I think Four Horsemen would be it. But I want to skip ahead to Priest of the Unholy, the next track on the record. This one is another track that I think might be a fan favorite. Love this track. It's a plodding, mid-paced type tune. It's actually similar in vibe to Time Will Tell. It even reminds me of Disciples of Hell at times, but it's got that mystical synth melody to it. Love this track.
Right.
Now, obviously, Priest of the Unholy, just the title conjures up certain images, but what's the story behind this song?
It's kind of a little bit related to some. It's more of a symbolic thing, you know. Sometimes I write the lyrics in a much more symbolic way, and it could be actually interpreted in a lot of different ways. I had a similar song called "In the Name of God,"
Right.
on the Attack album, which is a little bit about how people use God and to do not very godly things.
Correct.
So, but it's not a specific thing like that. I'm not political about it or nothing like this. It's just, it's inspiring sometimes. It's about evil, really.
Yeah, and again, that's a recurring theme that comes up in many of your songs. The next track, "Be Careful What You Wish For," that to me sounds like a fast tune that could have been easily included on the Alchemy record. It's got another one of those unique riffs that you play that really are unique to you, and nobody else does riffing like that. But you know what? Let's go ahead to this next track, "Capricci di Diablo," and I want to talk about that one because it is an up-tempo instrumental track, a crap load of notes in this song. I mean, it really sounds like a piece for your soloing. And you've recently stated this is the most difficult thing you've had to play?
Yeah, it is, because basically what happened, I had a little motto going through this record as it took shape, which I use. It's called "More is More." Sometimes some people say less is more, and I don't understand. Less is less, and more is more. So
I totally agree.
There's no restraint at all on this record, but that particular instrumental track is basically pushing everything to the limit. I mean, I couldn't possibly do more than that. That's it. That's the limit right there.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when you said that Capricci was the most demanding track for you, because I thought after the Asylum Suite, you couldn't possibly go any more crazy. And yet you somehow have topped yourself. I don't know how you do this. It's crazy. And the Asylum Suite was crazy enough. I mean, it just, yeah. But when you go off on that fretboard, it's just absolutely amazing. But now, Lament, the next track, a little bit different. It's a slower melodic instrumental, almost ballad-like. You mentioned earlier that you found that when you play live, that you like to keep a tight, cohesive set, more of the up-tempo songs. Would we hear something like Lament live, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, there's everything is open right now. I'm kind of like leaving things open because I'm still feeling the songs out. And so, yeah, I'm not saying no, for sure. It may be there, maybe not be there.
And you follow up with there's a track called 11th Hour, which is one of my favorite cuts on the record. It's mid-paced, and it's got an Arabian-sounding main melody to it, which you've done on a few songs throughout your career, and I really dig that aspect when you bring that out. This is one I'd like to hear live, 11th Hour for sure, and I think this is going to be one of those tracks where I throw on Perpetual Flame. This is going to be one of the songs that I listen to the most. Heavy Heart is a track that is an instrumental, and I find very similar to the track Brothers from Seven Sign. I really like Heavy Heart. Now that's one, man, even as like a solo piece, just you without the band, I wouldn't mind hearing. Really moving too.
Thank you.
I really dig that one. And you alluded to the track Magic City earlier. It's one you sing. It's not too bluesy, but I guess this song kind of serves as the bluesy tune on the record. You tend to have one bluesy type track on your records. And sometimes you'll throw in a song each record that's a kind of almost like a curveball, a little bit of a different song. And I would say Magic City's probably the one different track on the record. Since you sing it, you think we might hear more of this song? Because you sing live during your shows.